So it must have been about a year ago. I was alone in the store. I was standing behind the register waiting for some customers to come in. Like, the store tends to be pretty slow a lot of the times. So I look up and I see that there's like a pretty disheveled man there. I greet him, like welcome him into the store, ask if he needs help looking for anything, and he just immediately walks up to where I am at the register. And very respectfully, very kindly, he asked like how my shift had been going, like wishes me a good afternoon, and just kind of introduces himself as a kind of like vigilante figure. He basically just opens up by saying that he has this concern that a lot of the times us, as in like the people working at the mall, aren't being listened to by, I guess, management or security, that our concerns aren't being taken seriously, and that he recognizes this and he kind of wants to be the sort of guy that's gonna help us out. And he reaches out for me to like shake his hand as part of the interaction, which is, I guess, when I got a closer look at his face, and I noticed that he had sort of like red tear streaks running down his face. They looked like they had dried, but definitely that was something that stood out to me as abnormal about his appearance. He basically just said that he had kind of like set up a little station in front of the old Regal, saying that he had like a mailbox set up there where we could basically go and just write down any complaints that we had, put them in, and that he would open them and then, I guess, take care of them.
We're here today at what used to be the old Regal near Governor Square Mall. Now, it is but the last point of contact that we have with the Tallahassee Vigilante. Our last witness told us that he had set up a mail system right here in front of the old Regal. So now we're gonna investigate and we're gonna try to find any means of contacting him. Okay, we just found a mailbox for the Regal. We don't know if this is the one mailbox, but we're gonna try one risky move and we're gonna write a message to the Tallahassee Vigilante, and hey, we'll see what happens.
While we waited for a response from the Tallahassee Vigilante, we aimed to broaden our understanding of his purpose in our community. Though his identity remained a mystery, we contacted an FSU professor who could inform us of the roles and perceptions of vigilantes in our society.
What you often find with vigilantes is that you have someone making some kind of claim, whether it's explicit or implicit, that they're in a position to challenge the sort of monopoly on violence that the state enjoys through whatever they have, legal, charismatic authority. What they're often doing is trying to step in and fill some kind of void they think the state is missing, right? Either the laws aren't good enough, or the state isn't enforcing them well, or whatever the case may be. There's a lot there that is happening right now, and I think that part of the appeal to people is, even if they're not willing to cheer on a vigilante group that actually exists, although maybe they are willing to, they're intrigued by the idea that someone could come from the outside and set things right, because we can all recognize that things aren't perfect.
After speaking with Dr. Moret, we continued our investigation by returning to the scene of his initial sighting, the Governor Square Mall, to see if we could find anyone who knew anything about our vigilante.
So far no leads. We haven't had a statement yet. We haven't had someone that has seen the vigilante. But yeah, we split up for a second. So Cole, how are things on your end?
Yeah, I mean, we can't really find him. He's like an urban legend. Like, no trace of him ever existed. Like, we'd be going to the stores, we'd be asking the retail, hey, have you seen him? Have you heard of this? I know it was 8 months ago, but nobody has seen him. We asked the security guards, and then they said that the people at the kiosks have been here the longest. But even they, when we asked them, had no recollection of this. So it's just such a strange thing. It's like a ghost story at this point, where did this even happen?
The little we know about the person in Tallahassee, I think, lends itself to at least a sort of worry that this might be a person in need of help, that they seem to be potentially at least reaching out for help. Is that, in a democratic society, that the way to go is usually not to be a vigilante, but to work within the system and persuade people and reform and use the political process.
With no further witnesses and no response from our white whale, the trail had gone cold. Now, our only choice was to return to the old Regal to see what has become of our note. With no response to our note, the Tallahassee Vigilante remains a mystery to us. But even in his absence, the sighting of him proves that the idea of a vigilante still lives on in the Tallahassee community. Even still, his stated mission has become an ideal larger than him, causing us to ponder how our lives would be changed if there was a vigilante among us.